How to read A Course in Miracles. This is the end of chapter 12 in the Circle of Atonement edition. Which is called the Sanity of Love, and this last section of chapter 12, which is marked 10, it's called The Visible and the Invisible. And when you read A Course in Miracles, you have to pay attention to every word, and you have to read it as what would we say, as awareness or consciousness or the Holy Spirit or Christ or whatever you want to call it would read it and say it, and would read it and say it with you and to you at the very time that you're reading it. And so, as an example, I'll read from this section and show you what I mean. So, the visible and the invisible. And in the first sentence is, do you really believe that you can kill the Son of God? And do you really believe that you can kill the Son of God? Which is what you believe if you believe that you're a body and that you're only a body and that you can die because you are the Son of God. All part of it, connected, interchangeable, etc. And so that must be what you believe. Do you really believe that? If you think you can die and if you think consciousness ends at that point, then that means that you believe you can kill the Son of God. For the Father has hidden his Son safely within himself. And it's capital himself. And so what that means, so the Father has hidden his Son safely within himself. So the Father has hidden the Son of God within his own self, meaning that where you are and who you are right now is inside God himself. And so that's where he's safely hidden. And hidden would be from your sight. It's, it's called the visible and the invisible. And so if God is hidden within himself and you don't see it, that means that you are invisible to yourself. And kept him far away from your destructive thoughts. The word kept and kept him. You're kept by God, by awareness, by consciousness, which is far away from your destructive thoughts. But you know neither the Father nor the Son because of them, because of your destructive thoughts. You know neither the Father nor the Son, nor your true self, nor yourself at all, because of these thoughts. It's a choice. You attack the real world every day and every hour and every minute, whenever you really believe that you can kill the Son of God. And yet you are surprised that you cannot see it. See it is the real world. You're surprised that you can't see that you're connected to everything, that your awareness and consciousness itself, that you're in God himself. You're surprised that you can't see it. But how would you? You're kept away from your destructive thoughts, and your destructive thoughts are egoic thinking, separateness. And by believing in that, you attack the real world every day and every hour and every minute. If you seek love to attack it, which is, you can't identify with egoic thinking and then seek love, trying to find it, because then you would just attack it. You will never find it. Will. If you seek love to attack it, you will. It's almost like you could stop right there. You will. To never find it. You will never find it. You will. Don't find it. That's what you're commanding to yourself. For if love is sharing, which means shared, interconnected, all one, how can you find it except through itself, which is you? You can't find it and seek to attack it and identify with a point or view or perspective that is not the same. Offer it, and it will, there's that word again. You have to use the word will in here very differently. Will means like to command, to create. Because you're in the mind of God, when you will something, it's your reality. That's the way you were created. That's the way God works. So that's the way you work. So if you seek to attack love, was what we were talking about. So it says, offer it, love, and it will, love wills, come to you, because it is drawn to itself, which is where you are. But offer attack, and it will, which is you're willing, remain hidden. So, but offer attack, and it will remain hidden. For it can live only in peace. And peace is connected. The next paragraph. God's son is as safe as his father, for the son knows his father's protection and cannot fear. Cannot fear. It's possible to not fear. Cannot fear. Because you know your father's protection, you're already in the father's protection. His father's love holds him in perfect peace, which is, for it can live only in peace, was the end of that last paragraph. Love. His father's love holds him in perfect peace, and needing nothing, he asks for nothing. Your true self, what you actually are in reality, needs nothing, asks for nothing. That's perfect peace. But he is far from you whose self he is, the Father, your true self. He is far from you whose self he is, who God is, you. For you choose to attack him, and he disappeared from your sight into his Father. Didn't disappear from you, but from your sight, because you chose differently. That's why the word chose was, for you chose to attack him, so he disappears from your sight. You can't, because it's something you can't do. So these are just laws of the way God thinks, or Christ thinks, or Jesus thinks, or whatever you want to call it. He did not change, but you did. For a split mind and all its works were not created by the Father. Those are your own creations. So seeing yourself as separate, this is how this all started. Do you really believe that you can kill the Son of God by thinking that you're separate, that you're a body, that your consciousness, your being ends in the body, or when the body dies? A split mind and all its works, which is, the world we see, were not created by the Father and could not live in the knowledge of him. Could not live in the knowledge of him. So this is why he disappeared from your sight, because it can't live in him, and so it stays with him and can only live in seeming reality of separateness, because you're free to think and believe whatever you want. That's what free will really is. All right. When you made what is not true visible, like a body, the world we see, other bodies, what is true became invisible. I like that word, invisible, in the visible. is what is true became invisible because you're not looking at it. You chose not to see it. But it cannot be invisible in itself. So no matter how hard we try, we can't make it invisible truly. That's why it's impossible. That's why it's a struggle. It's despair. It just doesn't, because it doesn't work. That's frustrating. Right. It cannot be invisible in itself, for the Holy Spirit sees it with perfect clarity. The Holy Spirit is just the interconnectedness, the rule, the law of actual consciousness. Sees it, and you can't get rid of that. There's no other way to say it. Right, so, right, with perfect clarity, it is invisible to you because you are looking at something else. Something else. Yet it is no more up to you to decide what is visible and what is not. It's no more up to you to decide what is visible and what is not, what is true, what is not. Then it is up to you to decide what reality is, like the first sentence of this section, which is, do you really believe that you can kill the Son of God? What can be seen is what the Holy Spirit sees, what can actually be seen and known. Again, that for it can live only in peace, the last part of the first paragraph. So, what can be seen is what the Holy Spirit sees. So, what does the Holy Spirit see and how does it see, right? The definition of reality is God's, not yours. So you can't change what is, you can't overpower God. You can't change what he is and what he made, and that includes you. But you can see or not see as you so decide or decree or will. He created it and he knows what it is, which is why you know what it is. You who knew have forgotten. And unless he had given you a way to remember, there's another word, remember, which means to like bring back together. To member would be to bring back together. So to remember means to reconnect. So, and unless he had given you a way to remember, you would have condemned yourself to oblivion. But since, you're actually a part of him, you can't do that. Because of your Father's love, you can never forget him. For no one can forget what God himself placed in his memory. See, there's that statement, and now it kind of makes sense, right? Like, well, why would he say something like that, right? Because of your Father's love, which is you, you can never forget him, because you are his love. You are in his mind. For no one can forget what God himself placed in his memory, which is you. You can't forget it. You can deny it, but you cannot lose it. A voice, it's capitalized. This is when we're talking about how the Holy Spirit works, or how connectedness works, how you can see from that perspective as well. So a voice will. There's that word again. A voice wills. So God wills, connectedness wills. A voice will answer every question you ask. And a vision will, again, that's how the Holy Spirit sees, or spiritual seeing, right? A vision will correct your perception of everything you see. For what you have made invisible is the only truth. Just because you're not looking at it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean that you aren't aware of something. And what you have heard is the only answer. That's why you keep hearing it. For God would reunite you with yourself, where you are right now, and did not abandon you in your seeming distress. Seeming distress, not actual distress, your seeming distress, your believed distress. You are waiting only for him and do not know it. You do, and do not know it. Yeah, why would that be the statement, right? So you are waiting only for him and do not know it. It in yourself, you don't know it. That's why you're waiting. And that's why you suffer, and that's why you struggle. But his memory shines in your mind and cannot be obliterated. It is there. It is no more past. It is no more past than future, being forever always. It is no more past than it is future. It's neither of those. Being forever always. Let's pause there.